We'll watch it.
So Keefe D just had another court appearance yesterday in court, and I can't lie, things are not looking good for Keefe right now. Bro is not having a good time. But you know who else is not looking good for? Diddy. And that's because he was just named 77 times in Keefe D's court documents. Now, if y'all don't know, Keefe D was arrested last year and is currently being prosecuted for the murder of Tupac Shakur back in 1996 in Las Vegas. And more specifically, the prosecution is claiming that Diddy paid $1 million for a contract or a hit on Tupac. Now, this all stems from statements that Keefe D made after signing a proffer agreement where he pretty much said that Diddy was responsible for Tupac's death. Now, if y'all don't know what a proffer agreement is, it's an agreement between suspects or defendants.
I'm gonna be honest, it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. Like, he's not gonna get charged. Tupac been dead for like almost 30 years ago. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not. They're not gonna. It's not. They're not gonna get justice for Pac, unfortunately. It's sad, but I'm just gonna be honest with you. All his killers that was in the car damn near dead except for Keefe. So it's pointless. It's damn near pointless, bro. Like, they're already gone. They're no longer with us. This is the only survivor that's in the car. That's pretty much it. And you know, I watched all the interviews, the live videos of Keefe D. Just to hear the stories of him reliving the times that what they did. For his age, you would think that he had remorse, but he still like talk about it and smile like it's like a game. I just don't understand that part. How the hell you like 60, 50 years old? You think that shit's like, you get a thrill of that shit. Keep in mind, you just actually, people died. Like, that, I just don't understand that. You actually watch someone get murdered. Like, you actually see him getting shot up, and you still talk about like it's nothing. Like, he's not even a human being. That I have an issue with. And then on top of it, why the fuck you talking about it? And I just feel like that's dry snitch. Why would you do that to your own nephew? Why would you snitch out on your own blood? Man, if he was alive and he did this shit when he was alive, oh my God, I wonder how that conversation would have turned out.
In the United States government, where said person is allowed to give information without worrying about being prosecuted on the information that they give. Right? In the streets, a proffer agreement is referred to as being queen for a day, because you can say and do whatever you want without worrying about the repercussions of what you say, at least not legally worrying about the repercussions. However, most proffer agreements only go for the interview and the statements made during the proffer agreement session, right? So if you're offered a proffer agreement and you admit to killing somebody, they're not going to prosecute you on that, but it's only meant for that conversation. If you leave the interview and you go out on the streets and then start telling people that you murdered somebody, the government could double back and recharge you for the things that you told them during your
goofy. Damn. So you really thought that proffered agreement was just gonna just help you out? Wow. Damn.
Proffer testimony, which is exactly what happened to Keefe D. See, he gave this proffer agreement years ago, and it was recorded by a police officer or an investigator named Greg Kading. Now, during that interview with Greg Kading, Keefe D pretty much admitted that he was involved in the shooting. He also mentioned Diddy during that proffer testimony, even going as far as to say that he wished he never met Diddy because Diddy ruined his life. Now, Keefe D never really spoke on this after he took his proffer agreement, at least not until the internet became a thing, because a few years back we seen Keefe D start doing a media tour. He was going on Vlad TV, he was going on the Art of Dialogue, he was going on mainstream news network. Hell, he even wrote a book about it. And in those interviews and in that
why would you do that to your own nephew? That's your own blood, bro. Do y'all have history with each other, bro? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't just don't get it, bro. That's your own blood. If I did some crime with my cousin and he's no longer here, do you really think I will sit there and write a book of my deceased cousin? And it's worse if you're close. How does your family feel about this, by the way? Does your nephew have kids? How does his kids feel about this? You talking about his dad like this? In this light. Man, that's wrong.
Book, he basically said the same thing that he said during his proffer testimony. However, these new statements weren't covered by that old proffer agreement, which led to the government doubling back and charging Keefe D in the murder case of Tupac. And bro has been sitting in jail since late last year, and he's not expected to have trial until around November of this year. But he has had a couple of court appearances in the meantime, and yesterday he had one of those appearances where he had some grievances that he wanted to let the court be made aware of, like the fact that he doesn't like Greg Kading. And that's because just like Keefe D went on a media tour about this, so did the investigator Greg, who has also appeared on Vlad TV news stations. Like I said, basically did the same media tour. So while Keefe D was in court yesterday, he had a couple of outbursts where he was letting it be known that he wasn't rocking with the fact that the court was allowing Greg to be involved in the case. And honestly, that's understandable, because Greg has said verbally numerous times in these interviews that he doesn't care about Keefe D. He doesn't care about the law surrounding the proffer agreement, because the proffer, just like it keeps the suspect from talking about it after the proffer is done, it also should keep the investigators from talking about it. But Greg Kading is basically saying he don't care about none of that. He wants to get the story out. He wants to tell his story. He wants to monetize it. And so that's what he's been doing for several years now. And like I said, when Keefe D was in court, he had a couple of outbursts in regards to this.
1日2時間以上 YouTube 見ていると必見。その時間せっかくなら仕事に変えませんか？動画を見ることが仕事。
It'll be August 20th. I think we're done.
I got something to say.
You want to say it to Mr. Arnold, and he can say if he represents you. So ultimately, to represent yourself, you can talk at will. But
Mr. Greg Kading had them boxes at his house for 15 years in his attic, doing all kind of TV interviews. The boxes should not be allowed in the
He's just going to talk about it.
But did you do the same thing though? What the hell are you talking about, bro? You literally snitched on your deceased nephew and people around you at the time in the car. You were literally recorded and you didn't expect this shit to get out? Bro, shut up, bro. This is a sad man. A sad old man cannot take accountability from his actions. Just crazy, bro. Your brain developed at the age of 25, bro. Past 25. And you still talk like this, bro. Like, you still like. You worrying about the next man that just made a profit out of you. And you made a profit out of yourself about this murder. Blame yourself, dog. You didn't have to do all this shit, right? You could have just laid low the whole time when you actually took the immunity deal, the proffer agreement, all that other shit. You went out your way to write a book. No one told you to do that shit. You thought you can get away with this shit and be known that you're a Tupac killer. So it's your fucking fault. I don't care. Ride in jail, bro. Don't care. It doesn't fix getting a legend back. It don't.
The boxes should not be allowed. The tainted evidence, everything. The man, he broke.
And then as far as with the Diddy shit too, that boy got demons. I will say, Diddy, I swear to you, bro, I don't think you take accountability. There's a lot of dirt things you did, and you probably hush a lot of people up, including a legend. And if that's true, if it was behind that, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Man.
He broke a proffer agreement, and he broke the law, all kind of stuff. The boxes should not be allowed. He's been at his house for 15 years, and he do interviews, going in the boxes. Let me see here. Ooh, You can see it on any internet site that this man been going in them boxes for years. And he's a judge, federal judge in LA, did a 142-page thing about him. Look it up on the internet.
So I think what the state said ultimately is that they don't think that there's going to be anything in those boxes that they're going to use.
You just use something in them boxes. They just used something in them boxes from 1996, and they know they did it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly we are.
They're not only ugly on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. They crashing my family in this. They did my daughter first. They did my son. Then they just did my wife the last thing. What's the name? He told me about these. David Westbrook told me about these dudes. He said they're not only ugly on the outside, but they ugly on the inside too. These two dudes right here.
All right. At this point, there's nothing before me to exclude any sort of evidence. There's been no motion filed about the proffer. I don't know if Mr. Arnold plans on challenging that or not. Ultimately, that decision is up to him. So we'll see you guys back on that 30-day date.
That was August 20th that I knew.
At that time, we need to know if we're going to go on the 30th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Now, in that clip, we could see Keefe D stands up in front of the court. He said, look, I got something to say. And he basically calls out Greg Kading because Greg Kading has been going on this media tour. He's had the evidence locked up in his attic. It hasn't been in the evidence lockup this entire time. It's been at Kading's house. And Keefe D is saying, look, bro, I think that's foul. And to be honest, man, he makes a solid point right here. If the evidence ain't been in a certified evidence lockup, how do you know it ain't been tampered with? Right? So I think he's making a valid point, but the judge wasn't trying to hear it because he didn't put it on an official motion. He just said it with his chest instead, and that's just not the way that the justice system works. Now, his attorney was there with him. Maybe his attorney will file a motion to try to exclude some stuff from Kading's evidence pool, but the judge wasn't trying to hear it, at least not at that exact moment. And to be honest, even if they excluded some of the stuff that Greg Kading has, it's still not looking good for Keefe D because he's wrote books, he's given interviews, he had the proffer, he broke the terms of the proffer, and Greg Kading says that's why he broke the terms of the proffer, because Keefe D did it first, and it's all around just not looking good. But as Keefe D's case develops, we are starting to see some new information be brought to light, at least new to me. And one of those is the fact that apparently Keefe D went undercover after he gave his proffer and went to New York in an attempt to gain evidence against Diddy and another dude, which we'll talk about here in just a second, right? And on top of that, Diddy's name was mentioned 77 times in the court documents. Now, The Sun is the news outlet that broke this story basically and got these court documents and posted it. It's up on their website if y'all want to read the official documents, but we're about to go over the article that they wrote right now. So
damn, what the fuck?
it says Sean Diddy Combs faces questions about his alleged involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur after being mentioned more than 70 times in prosecutors' latest legal finding. Combs has been accused by the man currently being prosecuted for the murder, Keefe D, of paying $1 million for Tupac's assassination, according to the latest court papers obtained by the U.S. Sun. It is not yet known if Diddy will be subpoenaed or indicted as part of the murder case, as prosecutors hope to finally obtain justice for the iconic rapper who was gunned down in Las Vegas 27 years ago on September the 7th, 1996. The U.S. Sun has reached out to the Clark County District Attorney's Office for comment on Combs' alleged involvement in this case. And that's not a good thing. When you got news stations reaching out to prosecutors and asking if you're being indicted for a murder, bro, that's never a good thing. Anyways, it says Combs previously stated that he had nothing to do with Pac's murder, but his representatives did not comment on the latest Tupac filing when approached by the U.S. Sun, and of course they didn't. In papers filed on Thursday, Combs is named 77 times by his various pseudonyms, including Puffy, Puff Daddy, Puff, and his real name, Sean Combs. He is first mentioned as prosecutors explain the deadly rivalry that existed between Combs' Bad Boy Records on the East Coast and Death Row Records on the West Coast, headed by Suge Knight, leading up to Tupac's shooting. And we all know about the infamous West Coast East Coast beef that was going on. The documents allege that after the shooting, suspect Keefe D flew to New York with a Los Angeles police task force to pose undercover and try to gather incriminating evidence against Combs and another gangster, Eric Zip Martin, over the murder. And this is the first time that I've heard about this. Maybe y'all heard about it before, but this is the first time I've heard about Keefe D going undercover with the Los Angeles Police Task Force to try to get incriminating evidence against Combs and Eric Martin. That's crazy. The documents state task force detectives believed they had jurisdiction to investigate a Nevada homicide because defendant asserted that the conspiracy to commit the murder began in California between Eric Zip Martin and Sean Combs. Combs is mentioned again when prosecutors allege that defendant Keefe D has asserted publicly that he only told on himself and he wasn't trying to provide evidence against anyone else in his conversations with police. However, this statement belies the claim, as he suggested that Sean Combs paid Eric Von Martin $1 million for the killing. The documents include transcripts and summaries of various police and media interviews given by Keefe D before his arrest last year, in which he repeats allegations about Combs' involvement in the murder. In one summary of a YouTube interview, prosecutors say when Sean Combs reaches out to the defendant wondering if the Southside Crips were responsible for Shakur's death by asking, "Is that us?" and Keefe D, beaming with pride, answered yes. Combs is then named multiple times as part of a transcript of a surreptitiously recorded interview with Keefe carried out by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police in 2009 and included...
You're cooked. Damn, you're cooked. Damn. Recorded too? Because if he was saying, spilling all the beans, why would he bring up your name? You're fucking cooked, buddy.
The 179-page filing. I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period. I swear to God, he messed up my life, man. That's a quote from Keefe D. In the transcript, Keefe alleges he and his gang of the Southside Crips were friends with Combs, and the hip-hop mogul wanted Knight and Tupac dead. He then claims his gangster pals drove by Tupac and Knight in Las Vegas after a Mike Tyson fight accidentally, and his nephew Orlando Baby Lane Anderson shot at them both.
I don't get it, though. Like, the whole beef, right? Pac saying West Side, Biggie's from the East Coast. I get it, Pac was from the East Coast, but he moved when he was a teenager in the Bay Area. I don't get it. It's like, a person represent the West Coast, and the West Coast is winning, and he dropped Hit 'Em Up, all this other stuff, right? Him representing the West Coast, and you from the West Coast, y'all didn't have the same thing? Well, I mean, they're Crips, so I mean, I'm that's a different ball game.
Police asked Keefe D, Puffy Combs, does he play a role in this thing? And Keefe replied, yeah, I think he did. Keefe added that Combs told him and a group of about 45 people how he would give anything for Knight's head because he was scared of him, and also had a problem with Tupac after he had released a diss track about him. In the same transcript, Keefe also alleges that Combs was discussed the night of the shooting, with Keefe saying, I knew we was like, damn, we can get paid now. Paid by Puffy? Police asked. When you said Puffy, paid by Puffy, right? Keefe replied, yeah, according to the court documents. So this is what they're alleging. Keefe goes on to claim to the cops that Combs paid the money due for the Tupac hit to Zip and didn't return his calls when he tried to ask for the money to be paid to him instead. He then expresses regret that Tupac was dead and adds, I wish I never met Puffy, period. I swear to God, he messed up my life, man. I was rich, up under the radar, and all that, man. It's all gone. And yeah, that's normally what happens when you're involved in a murder. You get caught and everything goes away. The document was filed by prosecutors in a bid to oppose Keefe's bail request. Keefe's $112,500 bail bond was rejected last month over concerns about the source of the money. Music producer Cash Whack 100 Jones and whether he and Keefe have been discussing selling the gangster's life story to TV producers. And this is something that we talked about on the channel. Whack 100 actually showed up on a Zoom call in court trying to pay Keefe's bail, but it was ultimately denied after the judge said that she couldn't verify the legitimacy of the funds that Watt was providing. Anyways, it says a bail reconsideration hearing in the case will take place on Tuesday. Keefe's lawyer, Carl Arnold, has not yet commented on the latest filing by the prosecution, but previously he has told the U.S. Sun that he was optimistic Keefe would be freed at the next hearing and stated that the former gangster should be allowed to make money from TV and movie deals before his trial in November. Now, I do want to clarify that all of this is alleged. This is what Keefe D told investigators during his proffer pretty much. And Keefe's trial don't start till November, so this man hasn't been convicted of this crime. What we're reading, what we're seeing, this is just the evidence that they plan on using against him, the things they're trying to get admitted, so that when the trial does start, they have the ammunition needed to put Keefe D away. But seeing it all put in court documents, seeing Diddy's name dropped 77 times in it, it brings a different aspect to it, because up till now, Diddy ain't had to worry about it. But I mean, you can see in the documents that they're filing, they're saying that Diddy paid Eric Martin $1 million because Tupac was murdered. And if that's true, I mean, honestly, I can't see how there won't be an indictment in the future. But again, at this moment, it's all alleged. If Keefe D is convicted and this is actually used as evidence, then it's also not looking good for Diddy in this situation either. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the story. That's what we got. Anyways, that's basically it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed the
let's
content,
be honest though. I mean, Diddy gonna be straight in jail though. No, I'm not trying to be funny. I feel like Diddy's gonna get straight in jail, bro. He gonna be all right though. If he's doing like Diddy-fied parties, bro, you know how Liz's gonna be in the jail. He can be free. He can be free. He don't have to bring the Diddy persona. He can just be himself. You know what? I want to show y'all something. Told y'all I'm a Tupac fan. I didn't understand this until now. No bullshit. I didn't understand this at all. Original. Was it the 3-day theory? 7-day theory. CD. OG. It was the original one before. Was it a 3-day theory? The demo one? Yeah, right here. I just seen it. It's supposed to be the original art cover before he passed. Damn it, it's right there though. I see it right there on the screen. Damn it. Hold up. Right there. I see, yeah, right here. This was on Tupac's Machiavelli original art cover on the back of it. Right here. Yeah. That's Diddy in the tutu. And that's supposed to be Dr. Dre. Because I guess he had beef with Dr. Dre. We're not talking about. He gonna be good in jail, bro. He wears something like this, he gonna be good, bro. Rest in peace to Big, though. Real talk.